Hey everyone, welcome back. Mr. Hancock here. This video is going to lead off of the theme handout video into the C method video. So, I'm going to start really quick. We are still here in the theme handout, but when you scroll to the second page, you'll see this, writing about the theme, the C method. This explains what the C method is. The C method is an acronym for statement, statement, example, explain, or explanation. It is the basic formatting, and I say really basic, but essential formatting for each body paragraph that you have inside of an analysis essay. Some type of analytical writing should have this in a sense. So think for a second. If your thesis is your argument, you're telling your reader, it's your contract, you're saying to your reader, hey, this is what this story is teaching us. This is what this poem is trying to show us. This is the big message of the poem. The reader is going to say to you, like a conversation, yeah, I'm not sure I see that. Prove it to me. Show me where you got that information. Where did you get that idea from? So your job now is to provide the reader evidence. It's like you're conversing with someone saying like, here's one reason. Here's the other reason. Here's the third reason. Things like that. You've had conversations like that in the past. So what the C method is you essentially doing that, but in written form, okay? So when you see the C method, this is how each body paragraph works. So let's just say, for example, you've got a 750-word minimum essay, and you're going to do this 4 or 5 times. You need about 4 or 5 good paragraphs that explain this. So that's 4 or 5 good examples to back you up. 750 words does not mean 3 body paragraphs are really big. You need to space this out. You're looking for 4 to 5 body paragraphs here, okay? And so when you're looking here, let's say, all right, here's my first reason. There's paragraph 1, body paragraph 1. Second reason, body paragraph 2. Third reason, body paragraph 3. Fourth reason, body paragraph 4. And then so on, okay? And so it doesn't matter if you have to write a 3-page paper or a 30-page paper. This is a consistent formatting you can use. And the more advanced you get, you'll notice that while not every body paragraph in an essay is perfect SEE, statement, example, explain, it will have those elements in it. It will definitely have those elements in it. So let's take a look at what they are, and then we'll see how this works. So first off, the statement. Do not start a paragraph off with a quote. We don't know what the quote is about. We don't know what to do with the quote. We have no idea what the context is. So you need to start off every body paragraph with a topic sentence. A simple sentence that just lets us know what that paragraph is going to be about. That's all. Then as soon as you're done with that, you need to move into the example. This can come in the form of a quote. It could come in the form of paraphrasing the quote. So which one do you do? I typically tell students to opt in the form of paraphrasing, especially if it's a bigger piece. If it's a song or a poem or something like that, then the words matter. You probably want to quote that. I highly recommend quoting, actually. But if it's a short story, a novel, a play, something like that, paraphrasing is usually good because it forces you as the author, as the writer here, to tell us in your way. But still, it's a paraphrasing, meaning that you're providing your own words and giving us the example, okay? After that, you move into your explanation. Now, what I mean is this. Think of it this way. I always put it like this. Imagine you're imagine that you are, just left a movie with a friend, all right? And you say, hey, man, I love that movie. Did you see this one part? And your friend says, yeah, I saw this one part. Then you're done explaining. So it's almost like you want to think about you're done giving the example. It's almost as if your reader has already read it. They know that example very well. They just don't know what the example has to do with the thesis, all right? So that's what the last one's for. Explain. That should be the bulk of your body paragraph. And most of your time should be given to that because that is you answering that question, what does this have to do with the thesis, all right? So literally answer that question in that spot and you will have what you need for the body paragraph, okay? So let's take a look now at another handout. This is the C method in essay form. And here it is. So this is very old. I need to update this, but still. You'll notice it's color-coded, and I'll tell you why in a second. Here's our introduction at the top. It's just a really quick, sample introduction. It's not perfect, but it works. So first thing we got to do, because it doesn't matter what's going on in the body, if we don't know what the thesis is, it makes no sense to us, and it doesn't matter. It's very important to have a thesis first. So let's find our thesis. I'm just going to click those last 2 sentences, even though that's more than just, one sentence. But anyway, here's our message, all right? The Big Bang Theory focuses on the American stereotype of social awkwardness as intelligence in this episode. This illustration therefore focuses on the popular notion that being smart concludes dorkiness. That's the message. Is that the message of this TV episode, this show episode, is that if you're a dork, you must be smart. If you're smart, you must be a dork. That whole big stereotype, okay? That's what the show is saying. Not you, the author, but that's what the show is saying, okay? So, after getting that thesis, the reader says what? I'm not sure I see that. Prove it to me. All right, let me give you an example. See, it's a conversation. So, the reason I have this first body paragraph color-coded is so that you may see what parts of the C method are what. So the first part is yellow. That's our statement, all right? So it's just one statement. It's the topic sentence. It lets us know what that paragraph's going to talk about. And then the green is your example. And notice, it's not a quote. It's simply a paraphrasing, okay? Don't forget, regardless if you paraphrase or you quote, you still got to cite it. It says, one specific instance is when blah, blah, blah. That is the author putting it in his or her own words, okay? Now, imagine, like I said, imagine at the end of that green, imagine at the end of that paraphrasing of the example, the reader says to you, okay, I got it. I remember that part. But still, what has this got to do with your thesis? How, it's a how question, how does that example you just gave me prove your thesis? Answer that question now. And here we go. Here's the answer to that. This illustrates that to popular American culture, see? Therefore, the popularity of this episode depends primarily on blah, blah, blah. And so notice, the bulk of the paragraph is you explaining what that example has to do with the thesis. What that example, or how that example proves your thesis, okay? That's all you do. That's what you do in every body paragraph. Now that I'm done with that one, let's move to the second body paragraph. And you can see it does the same thing, okay? I even have a sample intro or conclusion down here if you want to see it. But anyway, that's how the C method will work for you, okay? Do not use the body to summarize. The reader has already read the story, already read the poem, already heard the song, and knows the lyrics. Do not summarize the work, okay? That's one of the things. First off, it's a mark of not having a thesis statement. But it's also a really mark of someone who just didn't really pay attention to the instructions, didn't, all that kind of stuff. And it will hurt your grade bad. Don't summarize. Only paraphrase your specific examples that you want to use, okay? And also, your secondary sources are going to be moving in now. If it's that time yet, if you're in the paper, say in your Comp 2, the Unit 2 essay, or in Comp 1, your last research essay, where does a secondary source go? A secondary source will go in after your example, okay? So it's mixed in. It can be mixed in with your explanation. It can come before your explanation. There's many things that can do like that. You'll notice if you look at the template, outline template with sources, it kind of has you a spot to stick a secondary source in there. Just keep in mind that you want to do research at the same time. If this is a research paper, you want to do the research at the same time as getting your examples ready and outlining. You don't want to put an argument together, then go find sources to fit in. That's what's going to be a bad part, okay? That'd be a really bad thing for you. But anyway, you can take a look at that in that unit more with the outline or the outline template as well for an essay with sources. So anyway, there you go, everybody. If you have any questions with this, please let me know.